Hi, I'm William.
And I'm Kat.
So that must mean this is info on the go.
We're answering questions you want to know.
So, Kat, I have a question for you. Do you have running water?
Why, yes, I do.
Okay, you might want to go stop it. It's probably getting tired.
Well, what are we talking about today?
So you did like my joke or no?
Um, it,
Okay, all right,
it,
all right. Moving on. Today on Info on the Go, history of plumbing. The evolution of plumbing from ancient systems to modern innovations. Plumbing has been a cornerstone of human civilization, shaping urban development and improving public health for thousands of years. From in, intricate systems of the Indus Valley civilization to technological marvels of the 21st century. Plumbing reflects humanity's ingenuity and adaptability. This podcast explores the historical progression of plumbing systems, the materials and technologies used, and the social impact of these innovations.
so let's go back to the ancient plumbing systems, the Indus Valley civilization. That was from about 3,300 to 1300 BCE, spanning present-day Pakistan and India, was among the earliest to demonstrate advanced urban planning and sanitation systems. Cities such as Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were designed with grid layouts and centralized drainage systems. Terracotta, check out our episode about it. Terracotta pipes were employed for water supply and wastewater removal, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of hydraulic engineering. Private and public baths connected to covered drainage systems were common, underscoring the importance of hygiene in daily life. Underground drains lined with brick or stone and covered with slabs ensured efficient disposal of wastewater, showcasing a remarkable commitment to sanitation.
And this wastewater would drain into a soak pit, underground pit where water waste from houses typically drained through terracotta pipes would collect and be periodically emptied. Now I have a question. Wouldn't you love to have that job?
No, no,
Yeah, I know I wouldn't either. Uh, but that would have been a very important job, wouldn't it?
it definitely would have, because you definitely that would have
I
been a lot harder to take apart and put back together, I think.
I don't know how they exactly would empty it. I didn't see anything on that, but I mean, today we have trucks that back up and pump it out and take it with it, like when, but I digress. Anyway, I was just thinking I would not want that job.
No.
Often used as a form of primitive sewage systems and sometimes even as a source of fertilizer. Essentially, a cesspit where liquid waste would soak into the ground after solids settled out. So
Mm.
basically, yeah. So they would use it as fertilizer too?
I think that would probably be the only thing you could use it for.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So in ancient Egypt, around 3100 to 30 BCE, the Nile River was the lifeblood of agricultural and urban systems. Egyptians developed extensive irrigation networks to harness the river's water for farming. Plumbing innovations extended to royal palaces and temples where copper pipes transported water. Bathrooms and early toilets have been discovered in pyramids and tombs, suggesting that even in the afterlife, comfort and cleanliness were prioritized. These advancements highlight the Egyptians' ability to integrate functional design into their monumental architecture. What what happened? There was like we had so much stuff going for us as humans,
Oh, it
and then
gets into it a little bit in the podcast here, but I have a question. So ancient Egyptians were using copper pipes,
right.
and the Romans were using terracotta.
Right. Well, like I said, what happened?
We're gonna get into it in a little while, for sure, about midway through the podcast. So we're gonna leave that cliffhanger with you there.
All right.
Uh, um, so wealthy Egyptians had primitive bathrooms within their homes, while public bathhouses were also common. These bathhouses had steam rooms, swimming pools, and gyms. So Public bathhouses had steam rooms, swimming pools, and gyms in ancient Egypt.
Mm.
All right. So back to plumbing. Uh, Below each toilet seat was a pit filled with sand to collect the waste. Toilets would likely be emptied by manually moving the waste from a pit or the container beneath the seat, which would then be disposed of in the Nile River, often mixed with the same water used for bathing and drinking. Essentially, there was no flush toilets, and waste was simply collected in a pit and periodically emptied into the river.
Ooh,
I would not want to be downriver.
no. Ooh.
But I
I
mean,
wouldn't want that job either.
no. But I mean, they didn't really know, then exactly what they were doing. But uh, yeah, so they
Mm.
were just dumping it into the river
You know, it'll be all right. It'll buff out, right? Ancient
somewhere.
Mesopotamia, around 4000 to 500 BC, often referred to as the cradle of civilization, also contributed significantly to early plumbing. Cities like Babylon implemented terracotta for drainage and wastewater removal, facilitating urban sanitation. Public bathhouses, a hallmark of Mesopotamian cities, were connected to these drainage systems, providing hygienic facilities for communal use. This integration of sanitation and infrastructure into daily life demonstrates the Mesopotamians' foresight in managing urban populations. There's still public bathhouses today in Europe
Yeah.
and other countries.
I know there's one in ancient Rome. We're going to talk about it, the Colossus Maximus.
Hmm.
There's a bunch of them, that if you if you're not driving or whatever, you can Google images from each civilization period that we're talking about. Uh,
Yeah.
and they're unique. And we know a lot more about the Romans than we do most other civilizations because of their extensive record keeping.
Right. Well, and they conquered a lot.
Yes. We definitely need to do one on the rise and fall of Roman. I think we've already said that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ancient Mesopotamian civilizations removed water waste primarily through a system of terracotta sewer pipes, which were used to channel the wastewater from homes and other structures into drainage channels, often leading again to cesspits. These pipes were considered one of the first known examples of urban drainage systems. Brick construction, brick constructed latrines were also developed in Mesopotamia, providing a dedicated space for human waste disposal.
In ancient Greece, which was around 800 to 146 BC, were pioneers in hydraulic engineering, creating aqueducts and fountains that transported fresh water from distant sources to urban centers. They used lead and terracotta pipes for water distribution. That doesn't sound like a lead.
No,
Ensuring a reliable supply to public bath fountains and homes. Gymnasiums and bathhouses were equipped with showers and baths serving both hygienic and social purposes. Advanced drainage systems removed wastewater efficiently, a testament to their engineering prowess. Now, that is pretty cool, but what we know about lead today, probably not as cool as I think it is.
yeah. Ancient Romans used lead too, but they knew that there was lead poisoning around using lead pipes. S-
Hmm.
Um, w- I, I read a little bit about it, but they didn't. Uh, they continued to use it, but they knew that it was linked to it. And I think eventually they went to terracotta mainly,
Hmm.
which I'll get into ancient Rome now. Between 753 BC to 476 CE, perhaps the most famous contributions to ancient plumbing, the Romans developed some of the most sophisticated systems of their time, aqueducts. And there is an aqueduct where it gradually goes down grade, and I can't remember how many miles it covers, but we'll cover that in the ancient thing. But they were so sophisticated that they could bring this aqueduct down by well, like 1 degree over however many miles it was.
Hmm.
Constructed with stone, brick, and special cement called Palazzola,
Mm,
Pozzolona,
that's
Pozzolona.
that sounds good to me.
All right, works for me too. This brought fresh water from distant springs to cities like Rome. Lead pipes known as fistula,
Fish,
distribute
I would say fistula, yeah.
fistula,
Fistulae.
fistulae. Yeah, okay, all right. Well, with the AE at the end, yeah, sure. Lead pipes known as fistulae distributed this water to public fountains, baths, and private homes. The grand thermi,
Thermo.
such as the baths of Carcasella, featured hot and cold baths, steam rooms, and gymnasiums, emphasizing luxury and hygiene. I mean, even back then, hot and cold baths, steam rooms, and gymnasiums.
I mean, that
The
sounds epic outside of the lead pipes.
Well, until we get into the public toilets here in a minute.
Oof.
The Colossa Maxima, one of the world's earliest sewer systems, remains partially functional today. Public latrines equipped with flowing water beneath the seats highlighted highlight the Romans' commitment to urban sanitation. Maybe. Roman bathrooms and latrines drained water into the city sewer system, which then emptied into a nearby river.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Public toilets in ancient Rome were made of stone or marble slabs with holes, and there were no dividers. This meant people sat close together. Just in case you were wondering, the Romans often shared a sponge for wiping after the toilet. Mm.
Finish the paragraph and then we'll talk
The,
about it.
the sponge was attached to a wooden stick and was called a terrarium. Oh, I'm sure it was growing all kinds of things. Oof. The sponge was soaked in vinegar or salt water to sanitize it. Hey, that's better than nothing. However, the sponge was often reused without being cleaned properly. Here we are going to make matters worse, as this communal sponge was unhygienic and unhealthy. Who would have guessed? There was evidence of creepy crawlies in the sponge, such as roundworms. Oh,
I'm,
yes.
I'm laughing at the way you're reading, like
Mm,
you're hanging on every sentence. Um,
mm.
I no,
Let's just share the worms. Mm.
no. Had you ever heard about this sponge before today?
No, no, this is my first time hearing about a communal sponge.
So when I was in high school, we had I had a teacher, world history teacher. I love world history, by the way, and she would teach us the hidden history parts of things. And I remember her talking about this one time, and I was like, I've got to look this up for this episode. And it just so happened to be in your part there, but I no, I could not.
Uh,
They were
I
they
mean,
were
it's bad enough to be sitting on a hole next to people without any divider. Okay, I mean, it's weird enough even today in public restrooms, especially uh, depending on what your tummy is doing at the time, to be in the same bathroom. Okay,
well, the Romans had a different outlook on the human body.
that's true.
And it was a different time, but still, uh,
I mean, I lived in Germany where they just changed into their bathing suits out in the open. Nobody cared about anything. Okay, I get that part of it. Just
some things
I
are meant
I
to be
do
private.
I do draw the line at the communal sponge.
Yeah, I draw the line at the communal sponge too. And
Cool.
with the evidence of being creepy crawlies, I mean, I just can't even see vinegar and salt to sanitize. I could see salt.
Well, vinegar is pretty good at sanitizing too, and it kills mold.
Yeah. Ah, man.
And the salt would definitely, the crystalline structure and it being dehydrating would kill parasites provided you left it in there long enough. I think that's just in my head how things work.
So my question is, where did this sponge stay? Let's move on.
Uh-huh.
Let's move on. We're probably creeping some people out.
Right.
From the Middle Ages to the Renaissance, with the fall of the Roman Empire, marked a significant decline in plumbing infrastructures. You're just asking what happened. Here's what happened. Much of the evidence, much of the advanced knowledge was lost. and sanitation declined. Open sewers became common, with waste often discarded in streets or rivers, leading to outbreaks of disease. The Black Death, which devastated Europe in the 14th century, was um, extirpated by the
Exacerbated.
exacerbated by the unsanitary conditions. And, you know, I really think we should do an episode on the Black Death
Absolutely.
because there's a lot more to it than just unsanitary. Well, yeah, um, but definitely coming up, the Black Death.
Yes. The Islamic Golden Age preserved and advanced many of the plumbing concepts from antiquity. Public baths, or hammams, were continued the Roman tradition of communal bathing. Cities like Baghdad implemented waste disposal and water supply systems, integrating sanitation into urban planning. The Renaissance brought renewed interest in hydraulic engineering. Sir John Harrington's invention of the flush toilet for Queen Elizabeth I in 1596 marked the beginning of modern plumbing fixtures. This period also saw the growth of cities, driving demand for improved water supply systems.
So the first flush toilet in 1596. So do you know what castles on the upper floor would do before that? They would have this. You don't want to know, do
Tell me.
you?
The
They would
most
ha
unhinged time.
they would have this chute that would come down the side of the castle wall
It's a gutter.
into
It's like a gutter, isn't it?
yeah, and at the bottom of it, someone would have to go and clean it up.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
That was before 1596, obviously.
Mm.
18th and 19th century advancements, urbanization during the Industrial Revolution created unprecedented challenges in water supply and waste management. Cast iron pipes, introduced for their durability, replaced older materials. Steam engines powered pressurized systems, distributing water more effectively. The expansion of cities
Necessitated.
necessitated large scale sewer systems to manage waste. Thank you. I was kind of stuck in my head there.
It's all good.
In London, Joseph
Ba-
Basil
Basilica.
Getz,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, designed design of an all brick lined sewer system transformed urban sanitation following the Great Stink. And that we're gonna not get into that. We're gonna do a whole episode on the Great Stink of 1858 because that was just rough. Uh,
I'm
public
afraid.
health. um, you should be. You should be very afraid.
Oh,
I didn't want to include too much because we did the whole Roman thing at the top. I was
oh
like,
God.
we'll hold this one back. Public health acts mandated improvements in sanitation, underscoring the link between clean water and public health.
The 18th and 19th centuries witnessed significant advancements in plumbing fixtures. Alexander Cummings' invention of the S-trap in 1775 prevented sewer gases from entering buildings, revolutionizing toilet design. Thomas Crapper popularized the modern flush toilet with efficient mechanisms, making indoor plumbing increasingly accessible by the late 19th century. Indoor plumbing became a status symbol and gradually more common in middle class homes.
I wonder if that's where we get the term the crapper.
It has to be. It has to be. And I struggled so hard not to laugh at that.
I was laughing for you. The S trap. Have you ever looked on the back of your toilet and seen how it makes this loop?
Yes.
So that is the S trap that keeps those gases from coming back up into your house.
I'm grateful for them.
Yes. Um, anyway, all right. So moving on from the crapper. The 20th century brought significant advancements in plumbing materials. Galvanized steel and copper pipes replaced cast iron and lead pipes, offering greater durability and reducing health risk. I can't imagine um, cast iron pipes lasting very long.
um,
I,
I have cast iron pipe and I had to have some of it replaced because it was chipped. It had a hole in it. Uh, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's still doing its job from what I can tell.
Okay. Plastic pipes such as PVC, um, polyvinyl chloride,
Mhm.
introduced in the 1930s, revolutionized plumbing with their corrosive resistance and ease of installation. And I can say PVC pipes are very easy to install, more easier than copper for sure. Later, PEX, cross-linked polyurethane became popular for its flexibility and resilience, further enhancing plumbing efficiency.
I do have Skittles for plumbing, so I probably still do have some galvanized pipe, some terracotta, some iron, and some PVC. Oh, and some copper.
Oh
Okay,
wow,
I got the
you got a
whole
mixed
bag of.
bag.
I did. I got the whole bag of Skittles in one house. It's fun times. Okay. The establishment of plumbing codes ensured safety and standardization across the industry. The Uniform Plumbing Code, also known as UPC, introduced the United States in 1928, set guidelines for installation and maintenance. Global health organizations like the World Health Organization emphasized clean water and sanitation standards, highlighting the critical role of plumbing in public health.
And the 20th century saw numerous technological innovations. Tankless water heaters provided on-demand hot water, and I really want one of those.
Same.
While low flow toilets and faucets were developed to conserve water. Sensor operated fixtures became common in public restrooms, improving hygiene and reducing water. I have a question. Am I the only one who struggles with making those motion faucets come on? Man, when I'm in the, like, you trying to use the restroom or wash my hands in one of the public restrooms and it has one of those little things you have to wave your hand under to make it come on, I struggle with those.
So for the hand washing, I don't usually struggle. There are some times where I do. I have to cover up the toilet ones for my child though because she is terrified of the toilet flushing on her. It is too loud. She has to make sure her business is done so she can cover her ears so I can let it flush.
I got you. I could see that, especially with some of them because they're so forced.
Yeah.
These advancements reflected a growing awareness of resource and conservation and just basically user convenience. I know if you have those touch faucets in the kitchen, like my daughter does, those are easy to use. I love those.
hmm hmm The late 20th and early 20th first century innovations, such as smart plumbing systems, the advent of smart technology transformed plumbing systems, and leak detection sensors alerted homeowners to potential water damage, while water management apps allowed users to monitor usage and control systems remotely. These innovations enhanced efficiency and minimized waste, aligning with the modern emphasis on sustainability.
And some of those are going to be like out west where it gets really cold and you can monitor your water as you can turn it on or off using your app while you're gone or at wherever, I saw where you can control the temperature on your hot water heater. It's
Right,
pretty
right.
nice.
Yeah.
Environmental concerns drove the adoption of sustainable plumbing practices. Gray water recycling systems reuse water from sinks and showers for irrigation, while rainwater harvesting systems integrated into building designs reduced reliance on municipal supplies. Green plumbing emphasized the use of eco-friendly materials and energy-efficient fixtures, promoting environmental stewardship.
Composite pipes combining layers of plastic and aluminum offered strength and longevity. Aerators and flow regulators in faucets and showers enhanced water efficiency, reducing consumption without compromising performance. Um, these material advancements underscored the industry's commitment to innovation and sustainability.
Access to clean water remains a significant challenge in many developing countries. Organizations worldwide work to provide safe drinking water and sanitation facilities, often implementing innovative solutions such as portable toilets and low cost composting systems. And you know what a compost toilet is, right? That's what those are talking about. Um, Training local plumbers and developing affordable infrastructure are critical for long-term success.
Uh, Aging infrastructure poses challenges in developed nations, requiring significant investments for modernization. I am a prime example of that. Okay, it's expensive.
Yes.
Climate change exacerbates these issues with increased flooding and droughts affecting water supply and wastewater systems. Addressing these challenges necessitates collaborative efforts and sustainable solutions.
And notable plumbing materials and their evolution, such as terracotta, was among the earliest plumbing materials.
And still used.
Yes, and extensively in ancient Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, Greece. While durable, they were prone to brittleness and primarily employed for drainage purposes, right?
Hmm. Lead pipes, favored by the Romans for water distribution, were eventually phased out due to their health risks. Recognized in the 20th century as a cause of lead poisoning, their use was largely abandoned in favor of safer alternatives. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you're using lead as like your gray water or your wastewater drainage, but to have it being supplied to you, you're
Yeah.
basically having lead absorbed into your skin every time you take a shower.
Well, I mean, Michigan, with the lead pipes, that was
Mhm.
a whole huge thing.
Right.
Copper has been a preferred material since ancient Egypt, valued for its antimicrobial properties and resistant to corrosion. It remains a popular choice for portable water supply systems today.
Cast iron, widely used in the 19th and early 20th centuries for drainage and sewage pipes, offered strength but was heavy and prone to rust over time. I can attest to at least the heavy and possible rust.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking earlier, like cast iron. Like, yeah, if you put your cast iron skillet under the wash it, like it doesn't take long for it to start rusting. How long does it take to? Mm, yeah,
Rust through all the way.
and then
I don't want to know. I don't want to think about it because it's expensive.
remember on our John Deere episode when we talked about how cast iron would just make the dirt stick?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to let your imagination go there. The
Uh,
introduction of PVC in the 1930s revolutionized plumbing material. C PVC, suitable for hot and cold water supply, and PEX, prized for its flexibility and durability, further advanced the industry. These materials provided cost-effective and efficient alternatives to traditional pipes.
The milestones and inventions. 1596, Sir John Harrington invents the first flush toilet. 1775, Alexander Cummings patents the S-trap, improving toilet design. In 1810, Philadelphia introduced the first cast iron pipes in the U.S. In 1858, London's Great Stink promotes significant sewer infrastructure overhaul. Um, in the 1870s, Thomas Crapper's Plumbing Company advances toilet mechanisms. 1928, Uniform Plumbing Code established in the U.S. In 1966, introduction of plastic PVC pipes revolutionizes plumbing materials, and in 1992, the U.S. Energy Policy Act mandates water-saving fixtures. Wow, 1992?
Yeah,
That's kind
that
of late.
early. Well, I was thinking early, kind of late. Yeah, okay.
Kind of late.
The evolution of plumbing reflects humanity's ongoing pursuit of health, convenience, and environmental stewardship. From ancient clay pipes, terracotta, and aqueducts to today's smart water management systems, plumbing has played a critical role in shaping societies.
Improved plumbing has significantly reduced disease and increased life expectancy. Continuous advancements have led to more efficient, sustainable, and user-friendly systems.
Modern plumbing increasingly focuses on conserving resources and mitigating environmental impact.
Okay, yeah, we didn't mention septic tanks or water treatment plants as they require their own episodes, so follow us for when that comes out. Want to add anything?
Um, no, I think septic tanks, there's just a whole lot there that we really need. There'd probably be one episode for each, maybe.
Yeah, no, I agree. William and I want to thank you for listening.
Thank you. Like and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
Till next time.
Stay curious.